Hey lads, welcome to another boss healing guide. We're starting the Ruby Life Pools mini-series, so to speak, and we are at the first boss, Melidrussa Chillworn. This is probably the easiest boss, but on a plus 20 Tyrannical key where the footage is from, he can actually hit you pretty hard at some occasions, so let's go through the mechanics and the cooldowns that you need to be using during the fight. She already casted the chill bombs, which are the icicles that we left on the ground. Pretty much all you want to do is stack as close as possible when she's casting those, so that the icicles are then stacked up. This is not imperative, but it helps to dodge them later on in the fight, because there's a lot of movement involved. Following the icicles, every time she's going to cast the Chillworn, which puts that big white circle around one of the players, apart from the tank. Whoever gets the circle needs to run away from the group, and this is where your job as a healer starts to ramp up. After the circle expires, it's actually left on the ground and it starts pulsing AoE damage to everyone in your party, and you want to make sure that you're out of it because inside the damage is significantly more than standing outside. The advice here is build distance between you and the circle, and then when it starts drawing you in, as everybody else in your party, you can actually cast without worrying that you're going to reach it. Over here, you can see that I'm zooming past my party, but I'm still casting my chain heal, and it would have been even better if I casted a healing rain in advance so that I hit everybody for 20% more healing if they're standing on top of it. The other advice is whoever gets the circle, try to cast a Riptide on them, because they can get an extra tick while trying to get out of the circle from the extra damage that you take if you stay inside of it. After the circle explodes, it does even heavier AoE damage to everyone, but this is not a damage that you should worry about too much, because you have plenty of time to heal it up. Of course, don't sit on your buttons, because as you can see, the next mechanic is chill bombs, and then she's going to do the Chillworn again. So you want, at this point, everybody to be topped up, so you can start healing the next Chillworn again. This is actually the whole fight in phase 1, and when the boss reaches 75 and 45% respectively, you enter phase 2. At phase 2, she's going to do the Awaken the Whelps cast first, which is going to awaken few whelps from the X on the side of the platform where you're fighting the boss. Basically, stay close to your tank so he can grab aggro on them, and don't worry too much about them, they will be just cleaved down by everybody in your party. So here I'm casting Healing Rain to get both damage and extra healing to my party. Unfortunately, the tank moves the boss out of it. And then the next mechanic is the Frost Overload. This is a channel mechanic that does heavy AoE damage to all of your party, and as you can see, the boss also has a shield that she gets, so she's not interruptible until you actually break through the shield. So this is where you're going to be tested as a healer. You can see the skills that I'm casting on the left hand side of the screen, and here I prepared a healing tide totem, and then I'm popping my ancestral guidance to heal through that AoE burst damage. So the regular rotation here, chain heal, downpour, you have nature swiftness if things go south, and of course keeping healing rain up, which I didn't do in this case. One thing to note, once the shield is broken, somebody needs to interrupt the boss. I had melee that would just keep smacking the boss without interrupting, so just keep an eye if it's you who has to interrupt the boss. Once you interrupt the boss, the damage from the channeling is over. Then we go back to phase 1, and it's basically rinse and repeat. You get the hell bombs, you get the Chillworn, you move away from the Chillworn, you cast while you're being dragged in, and then you top up everyone up by the time the next rotation basically comes alive. So not much to be scared of here, as long as you know those mechanics. They'll repeat in the same order basically forever. In this case, until the boss reaches 45%, and at 45% we reach the second, as you can see, phase where she awakens the whelps, and then she starts the channeling. For this one, I have saved the Ascendance cooldown, probably with a trinket, so that should be plenty to heal through. And as you can see, I'm actually sitting on my Spirit Link totem just for emergencies if something goes wrong and goes south. One minor thing to note here, the whelps will hit your tank and basically everybody else if they get aggro on them, and they will put this debuff on them, which is stacking. It slows down the movement speed of the target, but if the debuff reaches 8 applications, then the target is stun frozen and they take damage every second. So usually you're not going to get up to 8 stacks, but keep an eye on your tank and just dispel them if they get up to like 3 or 4, and they should be totally fine. It is possible for you as a healer to get the Chillworn mechanic, so what you want to do is riptide yourself, and as you can see at the last possible moment, I just gust of wind out of it, so I don't take extra damage from standing inside, and then the fight continues as before, this time until the boss dies. It's not going to do the whelp mechanic anymore. So that's pretty much the whole fight. Frigid Shard is the skill that the boss casts on your tank, so just watch them not to drop very low. What happens over here is I think our tank actually dies. He did drop very low. He did say that he messed up his cooldowns eventually. Luckily, we managed to get a battle rest quickly on them, but usually it's not the tank that's in trouble during this fight. Nevertheless, keep your Earth Shield on them and just make sure they don't drop really low, because they do take damage from the Chillworn as well. I could have used my Spirit Link to save them there, although I didn't expect the tank to die. And the other thing that happens at the end is your Ancestral Guidance is going to be back up, so you can pop that at the end of the fight for one more time to get some extra healing. You can see the talents that are used on the screen for this fight. The only weird thing, I guess, is the Hex, but I just used that for the trash that follows this boss. It has nothing to do with the boss fight, so feel free to experiment, of course, a little bit. The Cloud Burst is actually pretty good, helping you to top people up after the Chillworns. But I've used Healing Stream Totem here as well, so it's not that bad either. Alright, so this is it for this boss guide. I have the rest of the Ruby Life Pools bosses following up, so keep an eye on my channel, and if you have a particular boss that you're interested to see a guide for, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, happy healing, and happy keying.